Well, good evening.
Candidates, let's use our time well. It's not my intention necessarily to jump in and reread every question for each new speaker, but I might jump in as needed. And if, of course, if you want a question repeated, just holler. What is the best path for this city to contain utility rates for citizens while also using city-owned utilities to help drive economic development?
So I actually posted something on my Facebook page the other day about this. Recently, we had a study session, and it kind of explained in there, one of the reasons our utilities are so high right now is because we don't have a good mix of commercial, industrial, and residential housing. So as mayor, that's the one thing that I would be focusing on, is to get us some more residential and commercial properties. There's actually two things in my district right now that, there's actually two things in my,
The mics are, okay, and I'll jump in and let you get going again. The mics are actually just for the electronics, so I will remind the candidates to, and myself, to speak up and speak clearly. Continue, sir.
hey, there's actually, that's one of the things I'm going to focus on as mayor, is bringing more industrial and commercial properties into Independence. And there's actually two possibly going to be coming to my district very soon, and hopefully they come to fruition. But that's how we're going to get the utility rates down. Thank you.
Utilities, Roy Rowland.
Thank you. I think this is one of the most important questions for our city for decades to come. This is by far the most critical decision that any of us on this council or any of these candidates will face going forward. It has been a question in this city that has not been addressed, in my opinion, for decades. And we've got to come and look at the real numbers. The council, for a number of years, has had study after study after study put out by consultants and spend thousands and hundreds of thousands of your dollars to say, what do we do with a utility? What do we do going forward? And the most recent study that Mr. Stewart referred to, but it also included that we had to have significant residential growth. We had to have significant, I mean, even beyond what we can currently have, I think, in land as far as businesses are concerned. We have a power plant that is outdated. Do you want to put a 1940s power plant in your house? No. We need, either we upgrade it or we do something else, but the current path is not reasonable. I would follow the recommendations of the consultants that are professionals and have had decades of experience in this. I would not reject their opinions. I would not reject their analysis. I would not reject their studies just because I wanted to do a pet project with IPL. And that is one of the reasons that I'm running for mayor, because I think it has been mismanaged by the council for a long time, and that needs to stop.
Eileen Ware.
Okay. Industrial development. I've been promoting and championing industrial development for many years, and certainly the entire time that I have served on the Independence Council. When I became mayor and first started attending the Economic Development Corporation meetings, we continually heard, we don't have any product to sell in this town. That's true. We don't have any product to sell in this town. So I immediately said, after hearing that once or twice, maybe 3 times, well then let's go get something. Let's put our mind to it and go build something. We spoke with many developers. We got quite a long way with Van Trust before that project just did not move forward. And you know, sometimes that happens, and you learn and you move on. So I will continue to pursue industrial development. We have an incredible land asset that is ripe for that type of high quality industrial development, and that will help us to equalize our utility rates, which are being unduly pushed on our commercial sector. We have a high number of residential customers, a very low number of industrial customers, and the commercial customers are getting the squeeze. Our citizen surveys, year after year after year, you go back and look at them, and we ask them, what type of development are we lacking? And they say industrial. That's in our citizen surveys. I agree again with Mr. Rowland. We've spent a lot of money on consultants and recommendations that the council has chosen not to move forward with. I disagreed with that at the time. We had a consultant put together a plan to do strategic planning for Independence Power and Light. The council said, we don't need that. We've got staff. They can do that themselves. I don't agree with that. Every industry relies on consultants to help them to guide them through that, and I would certainly continue to push for that as well.
A reminder to the candidates to be mindful of time, if you would. We're doing okay, but let's keep it tight. Kenneth Love.
Great question. Through economic development, we need a tax base to create financial stability. More low-income housing. Decommissioning the power plant wasted, again, the current mayor, city council, wasted $10 million. This was a tragedy and created utility rates to go sky high. In the past, Councilman Huff implemented a 4% and 2% rate reduction for utility payers. There is a $68 million in reserves that is not being used, and it has not been utilized. Moving forward, I will sit here and tell you, not looking for the past and not looking for today. I am looking for the future of my grandkids, your grandkids. We need a power plant. I will say it again. We need a power plant. If we are going to survive as a city for bigger growth, you have to look what's coming down in the future. And the future being, where are you, the residents, are going to buy electricity from when there's nothing but electric vehicles running around our streets? This is the reason nobody wants to hear this word, but I will tell you folks, the residents need to understand we need a power plant. The best power plant will be a nuclear power plant. Thank you.
Holmes Osborne.
Read the question again, please.
Yes, sir. Let's see if I've got it here. What is the best path for this city to contain utility rates for its citizens while also using city-owned utilities to drive economic development?
I mentioned, as you know, I'm a proponent of building a new gas-fired power plant. Solar plays its role, wind plays its role, but both are very difficult for your base load for the Midwest. Coal is hard on the environment. Evergy has an abundance of coal-fired plants. We use coal-fired plants from Southwest Power Pool. Gas-fired would be the best thing for us. This can draw industry here. How? With cheap electricity. The challenge is cutting down bureaucracy. We've talked about what happened at the police department today. What's happening at IPL? I don't know. I see expensive pickup trucks. I read things in the newspapers. I would say that there's fat on the bone that can get cut off of the bone. Now, in regards to what consultants say, do you know what the definition of a consultant is? A consultant is someone who comes into your town, tells you what you want to hear, charges you a big bill, and then disappears, okay? I went to the best government school in the country. I'm not bragging, because a blue-collar guy like this has got common sense, okay? I've seen these fancy presentations. I've seen 100-page PowerPoints of bad ideas. I'm in the stock market. I'm in the economics. I see projections made that just don't come to fruition. Power plant, done properly, raised with many millions of dollars through a bond offering, would be a great thing for the city.
And we swing back to Colleen Huff, the utility question.
First, I just want to start by saying our current mayor has had 8 years to solve all these same problems that we are still facing. I mean, year after year, it's the same issues. And so if she was going to improve our city, she's had plenty of time to do it. And secondly, I just want to talk about Rory and his code of ethics that he's touting. We already have a code of ethics, and it's called the Missouri Ethics Committee. And you say that you would put a limit of $1,000, yet recently you took a $2,000 donation for your campaign. And in solving the situation that we have with IPL, the recent study that our residents funded said we needed to add 33,300 residential customers or 4,000 commercial customers or 27 industrial customers. So the problem that we have, why we can't bring new families to Independence, is because the trash, the homelessness, the blight. We can't get new businesses or industries interested in our city because of all the current bureaucracy with our leaders. I mean, I've had many people, some sitting here this evening, who have come to me wanting to start new businesses in Independence and had to leave and go elsewhere. So we are facing the same problems that we've had for many years. And I'm going to solve these problems.